Good evening. It's been a little bit of a hectic start here. This is Aesthetic Impact Informational Services, and we're gathered to discuss our remote viewing practice discussion target of 130320, a day of glass blowing. And weird thing was I could not find this feedback photo anywhere, and it's got 2 or 3 pages, and when I gave up trying to find it, it appeared. I'm like, okay, that's like the Aladdin's lamp thing there. And Lynn Buchanan wishes us all the best, gives us his apologies for not being here. He loves to come sit in and discuss our targets and our practice and offer pearls of wisdom on controlled remote viewing and remote viewing in general. But he has guests this evening and won't be able to make it. So we will take a quick look at this feedback. And I think that some of you, well, actually, everybody that's here who worked it, Janine and I didn't see your session. You may see some things that you got. I saw a fair amount of nouns and story recreating with your sessions. But remember, if you look at your sessions and peel out the nouns and go with the descriptors and don't build stories, you're going to see a lot of positive perceptions and sketches. So here is a day of glass blowing, and I was able to track down this feedback photo last evening, and I don't know how many, I've had this photo for a long time, and not the first time I pulled it up. But here you have a gentleman, obvious if you've ever been around anybody who blows glass, the art of that. You can see that he's working it with crimpers, and he has it on the long pole, which is hollow in the center. And then on page 2, you can see where he was starting it out and is shaping it. And there's a pedestal stand. And the feedback photo 3 is where he was inserting it into the oven, which is done several times in the shaping process to get it hot again. So if you've always been intrigued by the beautiful art of glass blowing, this experience is for you. Renovated 1930s service station provides a state-of-the-art facility with 8,000 square feet of usable space. Learn all the basic tools and techniques of glass blowing in a single 6-hour session. Create a totally unique paperweight, glass tumbler, or small bowl. Great experience for those intrigued by glass blowing or anyone looking to explore a new creative outlet. And the description is tap into your artistic soul and learn how to create art with glass. This day-intensive class covers all basic tools and techniques of glass blowing in a single afternoon. And then here is some feedback from a student who was there. She was very enthusiastic, and at least one of you, I think, picked up on her or somebody there. The instructors were amazing. They were patient beyond belief and did an excellent job teaching thoroughly and sequentially, allowing for practice each step of the way. There were several instructors for our group, and they made sure we were individually assisted through each step in the process. The intensive program was intensive. I was exhausted by the end of the class, but excited about everything I had experienced and learned. The class was a gift from my daughters for Mother's Day, and they know how much I love and appreciate blown glass pieces of art. Now I have a deeper appreciation than ever for the artists of this beautiful art form. Great learning experiences and great instructors. And here is just a rundown of their schedule, because some of you might be picking up on dimensionals or who knows what, so this information is here, so I will provide it to you. And
Teresa?
Yes, sir.
I don't see your feedback photo.
You didn't see that on page 1?
No, I've been sitting here scrolling through all this, and I can't find it.
Okay. You guys, anybody else having trouble? Michelle, were you able to see it?
Yes, I could see it.
Okay, Russ, it's the last, you should be able, yeah, it's the very last tab, because I couldn't find it. And I don't know why you guys can't see it. Do you normally have to click on it, or do you depend on seeing mine?
Normally I depend on what you're seeing, but I've been scrolling through this, and I don't see any feedback target photo. I've seen other people's sessions.
Do you see text?
I see other people's sessions now.
All right. Just a second, let me see. Okay. There at the end are 3 links. So, all right, I think it's located in St. Louis. If any of you, John, you may have done dowsing. All right. So there's the feedback photo. Can you see that?
No.
No?
No.
Janine, are you still, I don't know what else to do. It always comes up. Unless all along you've been
I see all 3 photos. This one here, you got the first one, the other 2 come in a separate page, but I've seen everything.
And you're not clicking on them, right, John?
I'm not clicking at all, no.
Weird. Okay, hang on. We'll just do the strobe light thing. Go to my desktop. Except now I can't see anything. Okay, this is just really, really weird today. Okay. I don't know what to do to fix that because I don't think we've ever had that problem before. And normally when I share my desktop, you see what I see. And it goes away. Sorry, I'm troubleshooting this WebEx stuff in my head. And I'm not coming up with any answers. Well, let me see if I can just recreate it. Alrighty then, that's what we'll do. Leprechauns. this doesn't work, if we can't get the feedback photo up with this because it took me so long to find it to start with, then I'm going to have to send it to you guys separately. And we can at least look at the sessions and get this going. I apologize. I don't know why you guys can't see it tonight. Oh, Janine. Now Janine can see it.
Yep, I can see it too now.
Okay, I have no idea what that's all about. Absolutely none. Okay, great. Here is your first photo, and there's your second and third. And here is, on page 3, the feedback from the students and the location in St. Louis. Okay, after all that, let me see if I can find John. You only had one session, no. Do a recap from above the ground and have aspects of tubular, long, heavy, metallic, hollow, inclined being placed in Ada, that was a current class, but it's a remodeled garage. And so a 1950 era for a structure may not be too far off. Because, you know, I was born in 54. My uncle had a garage. So, yep, there's John. Yes, I retasked. Okay, so hang on. There's Russ and a retask, Michelle and a retask, and John, and now. Okay, hang on, because I will find it. I'm on a mission now. There we go. I've got it. And you guys are just going to have to put up the little strobe thing. All right, here is a retasking. John's retasking. Target is retasking of structure. Describe the target. And John, jump in here with any pertinent comments you want to bring out, because here we go. Move to assign target and describe. Stray cat of Yankee Stadium. Boxy, hollow, thin walled, supporting humans. 20 by 10 possibly for a size. It's rectangular, pale, red horizontal stripe, lighting motion.
Excuse me, Teresa, but that's an old session. That's from about 3 weeks ago.
You're right. Good God, this is just not my night. I'm not meant to get my hair cut tonight, that's for sure. Jeez. All right, let's do this again. Oh, and here's the feedback and everything. If it's the right one, who knows? Okay, there is... Oh, now I know one thing. I might have lost you in the relabeling. I'm sorry. When you send your sessions, you don't leave a space between target and, I'm sorry. So I relabeled it, and it's here. And if nothing else, I'll just go to my email, and we'll look at it again. You see there, okay, nothing like taking a long way around here. I feel like we've gone through Africa to get to St. Louis. Okay, man-made one, describe the target. Metallic gray, brick, riveted, tall, tubular, hollow, smooth, segmented, in slow motion. I don't know if you guys have ever seen anybody blow glass, but I mean, this is it. Solid surface, inclined, vertical, and they do it a little bit at an angle at times, because when they crimp it, they have to they raise it up and lower it back down. And move inside, man-made and described. Light, white, hot, in motion. Stray cat of steam. Curved, billowy, rising, transfer. Move to any adjoining man-made and described. Flat, housing-like, hollow, square, rectangular, under, supporting, brick-like, hard, reddish, mechanical noises, processing noises, and industrial ambiance, producing ambiance, older ambiance. And there you've got an AI. The only thing is cold flowing water. I don't remember needing to use water when you blow glass. I would think it would crack it, but alright, scrolling down to your, looking for your summary, and here we go. Motion has aspects of slow, hot, billowy, white color. Water has aspects of river-like, flowing, abundant, near or next to the man-made supply. I know, I think they have to dip those tongs for crimping in and out of water. Also found were ambiance of New Jersey, United States, mid-20th century. One thing is, this company that did this course also offered a class in New York. And they used the same feedback photo, so if you research it, but the one that this photo was actually taken at, the original, is in New Jersey, or in St. Louis. So, I am so sorry about all of this technical difficulty. John, would you like to make some comments? Because even though I didn't do a very good job presenting your session, please feel free to speak up about it. I think
you did a fine job, Teresa. I think I began to zero in on the target, but I suspect I had myself convinced that this was more of a factory of some sort. Overestimated the size of the tube that was used, and particularly once I sensed the steam and the heat, I had myself convinced more so than ever that this was some type of factory. But there definitely were correct perceptions here. More than one individual was involved. There was heat involved. The 1950s era from a 1930s era garage. Not too bad for a target that could have been the Egyptian pyramids, for all I know.
Yeah. I did try and find a photo of the interior of the facility that I could come up with, like with this guy, you know, dressed or something. I never could. There are other photos out there, but I was reluctant to include them if I wasn't sure that they were at this facility. But I think they were. But they weren't blowing this particular piece of glass, and I didn't see anybody else that I could for sure say belong here. But if you guys want to research it, pull it up, because I think you'll easily find them. But I could see where you think it was industrial. I mean, it's very austere, and from the other photos, I can see that. Here you can see, I'm looking at the oven right now. You can see the pole, and it's on a stand. It may have an official name, but you can rest the pole on the stand, and they can twirl it and roll it back and forth, and it gives it some support. And I'm tilting my head here. You can see the door, the oven slides back and forth, and it's arched in there. I don't see any official red stripes, but I didn't know if maybe the target, the bowl itself, might look as if it had stripes in it. And you can see some of the tools, and here you can see the cables on this very first photo. And I saw a photo where they had several of these tables, and there are cables every place. Okay, anybody? Oh, Janine says you have incredible detail, John.
Well, thank you.
By the way, when is your presentation?
That's April 28th.
And you will be where speaking? Your topic is?
I will be in Harrisburg, the capital city of Pennsylvania. I will be joining it's called the Spirit Network Festival. It's a day-long event of psychic readings, Reiki massage, vendors, and I've been asked to present a 30-minute lecture on control remote viewing. So I'm very excited by that. Gives me an opportunity to educate everyone about control remote viewing. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I hope to share this exciting endeavor with everyone that day.
I'm sure that everybody is going to be very interested because you'll have stories to tell, examples to give, and that 30 minutes is not going to be nearly long enough.
That's the only thing I'm afraid of, yes.
Yeah. That's okay. I bet you're going to make a lot of good contacts there.
I hope so.
I think it's going to open some doors.
Looking forward to it.
Good. All right. Well, thank you very much. And again, sorry, like the old days when I was starting out with WebEx here. Let's see, I'm going to go with Michelle because hers will be a little shorter than Russ's. And Michelle also retasked. This was her first retasking. And let me see. I'm trying really hard to pay attention to see if you have any advanced visuals. Because you do. I am going to move, since we do have retasking, I'm trying to move along here, looking for sketches and your summary, because that is what you've decided to keep from your session. Okay, you say you've been all over, it feels very high-tech, and you're trying to understand exact target, and you're seeing so much. And I bet you're seeing so much, you're lucky to have gotten an eighth of it written down.
Yeah, you know,
yeah.
This is my original session.
Right.
And I had my retask in my hand, so I don't have that one handy.
You'll have it up in front of your eyes here in about a minute.
Okay.
Your sketch here, this shifts position to connect with something else. Yes, it does. Takes in information. Well, it might. It has to be directed. I'm trying not to waffle. But if the guy who is, it is a great sketch. Jed's liking it. If the gentleman who was creating this, and there are some people out here who would talk about consciousness and this piece of glass having consciousness, it is taking in information as it is being created. There may be more of these in the same area, like fields of wind, what am I trying to say there? Windmills, gotcha. And then, next part is attached to these, and it felt underground to you. Sort of build a little radar screen there. They may have a, but they may, I didn't see a big screen TV in there, but this is, it's an instructional facility, you know. I wouldn't count it as a yes, necessarily, but
you're kind. You're too kind, teacher.
No. I mean, let's face it, it's a teaching facility, so you don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't give you a yes, but constant readout of pertinent information. You're sort of building a little computer station there, I think. But
oh, completely.
Cave-like, that's just it. Quit constructing. Describe.
Yes.
Cave-like with large, tall metal doors, cement floors. Feels like a watchtower, but it's underground. Controlled, but not the sky. More like space. All right? All right, here's your sketch. I knew that somebody got it. Now, forget what you think this is. In that room, that I saw on the net, and Russ will probably have this in a heartbeat because he always finds stuff. But like I said, I was not 100% sure it was the same facility. But there were lots of those stations where the sky was blowing the glass with an aisle way. So forget the fact that it looks like the space station and concentrate on the sketch. Don't label it in your head.
Right. That's very, very difficult for me right now.
I know. And kept thinking like of a dragonfly. Well, I could see why. That looks like a good-sized galley nipper.
Well, now, here, let me have a little fun waffling for a moment.
Okay.
By the way, I'm not very proud of this session. However, the idea of the glass, which I didn't have,
Nobody did.
But I do own this peculiar little old-fashioned, you know, piece of glass that is called a dragonfly. It's sort of like a kaleidoscope with the funny lens where you just get multiplication of the thing that you're looking at. And so the idea that the word dragonfly kept coming to me, it's funny because you see I was fighting the word, obviously, and then tried to go high-tech, like I'm so smart, instead of the simplicity of this small item that actually came from a glass shop.
Your subconscious was telling you what
Yes.
what the target is.
Yes, I have some apologizing to my poor subconscious.
Once in session, it was a school-type setting, a classroom setting, and my subconscious had me draw one of the pieces of unique playground equipment from the grade school where I grew up. Now this is good. Golf course light. It reminded you of a golf course. That's good. All right. So secret opening tunnel down and a windsock. Okay. I can't say that you do some mighty fine sketches. And the thing is, your subconscious will enlarge what is important to it. Now you have a guy with this really long arm-like thing. I can't say that that's exactly what it was. All right, you just keep practicing.
Thank you.
All right, so here was your summary, and now, as you will recall, Lynn will say, in an outline summary, you start out, the target has aspects of man-made, land, and biological. Man-made actually has the 3 types. I'll deal with signaling and communication. What'd you just do right there? Well, yes, we do stake our reputation and come out and say what we think. But if you just kind of told everybody what you had there and how much of it is correct. If you just list the man-made and the perceptions you got underneath it without writing the story, then it's very objective. Now you have a rotating dish, firmly grounded on a high plateau. Dragonfly-shaped unmanned orbiting info gathering picture. And we know you sort of did the space station thing there, I think.
Oh, yeah. I took off.
Yeah, you did. You launched. But I think your sketch would have been pretty spot on as far as the inside of that facility. All right, command center is underground. There is cement, steel, radar technology. And the land felt like open, treeless space, almost like landing strip, but not. And Prius and trespassers are welcome or not welcome?
Not.
Okay, highly sensitive area, watch carefully. It said right there they were restricted to one observer, and you had to register in advance to come to. So it appeared that it was closed. Once, you know, that class was full, they're done.
Mm-hmm.
So not waffling, just saying that there were limits placed on this. Couldn't just wander in. And the biologicals were mostly male with a few females. Serious intelligence, working long shifts of dedication and pride, and hard-won positions. All right, here's your retasking, and this is Michelle's first retasking. And that which was described as a rotating dish. And no advanced visuals. And gonna move along here. Catcher mitt light. I thought that was interesting. Hydraulically positioned, lifting, turning, hard-shelled, white-colored, aluminum-sheeted, elongated innards, sensor-plated, and I don't know what else.
No, that's I can tell you that, Teresa, one of the things that I would like you to talk about, or you know, any of the others that have something to say. I don't know that much about retasking, but I know that even though I did not go back to my session and look at it, it was firmly right there on the edge, even when I thought I was having a clean start with this one. And so I wasn't sure how to handle it.
Contact again. Oh, you did it. It's
yeah,
the same target.
You know, and the other thing that was the big lesson for me in all this, and I know that I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but the simplicity of the thing, the purity of the image, and for me to start, you know, really pushing the trash away to be, you know, very, very clear. And, you know, I'm really impressed with other people's work, and I'm learning so much. So I really appreciate their good, clean work because, you know, I can see the big difference, but I'm inspired. So thank you, everybody.
And John is also saying that you have a very good sketch. But Phil the Whirlish, scientific, yeah, this is very precise. You have to know what you're doing with this. And wave scattering, I like that. And old war horses. Boy, yeah, if I could say that correctly. Prongs, delicate, globally dependent, constant, alert. By the way, Lynn listens to these. I don't know how much he laughs to himself, but he likes it. Spinning, plated, clockwork. And I don't know about the hack proof.
No.
And umbrella-ish. All right, let's see what we've got here. All right, well, you're the stage person. I don't know about the Shakespeare dog phone.
You know, that's that thing that your dog has when it has surgery, so it doesn't lick itself, Teresa.
Oh. Okay. All right, well, let's see here. I was just picking out your good perceptions so that you would appreciate your session. And
you know, I like page 6, Teresa. Because there were just, there again, tons and tons of things that certainly do not work or go with this, but the simplicity of span outerish and flower opening, you know, it's like I'm really, you know, learning to crawl.
There's your AI. Honey, I Shrunk the Marble.
Michelle.
The what?
Like I was very small next to these things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the giant flowers. There we go.
Yeah. And Teresa, you know, the way I drew...
Oh, you know what? Paperweights. All the students were going to make paperweights or a vase or something. What is in the middle of a glass paperweight? Usually flowers. See what I mean?
Okay.
All right. Purpose of these things appears to be related to the highest level of space communication and satellite technology innovation. Okay. Target has aspects of man-made, motion, space, and land, high-tech metallics, and I mean, it may not be the space station, but you have to appreciate, you have to know what you're doing to do this. Motion, gentle leaning or shifting with a slide up or down, much more visible motion involved all around, tiny small things flashing out and around while long concentrated beams shoot down and into like pouring. Okay? And dark corridor wrapping around orbit something.
Yes, it was a lovely trip.
Well, and then the land involved, but just because you think you're in outer space, I mean, there is space every place and atmosphere. So as you practice the ambiance exercises as Lynn teaches in the analogies,
yes,
when you cross the threshold into a room, you know what happens when you step away from the oven? It's cooler. When you get closer to the oven, it gets really hot, I would assume. And there you have here the land felt elevated, warm, and mostly uninhabited, fenced-off golf course vibe. Controlled traffic of visitors, we've established that, and serious protection. They're not going to let somebody wander close to those ovens. And
Teresa, there was one other thing that I was kind of pondering. On page 8, my stray cat, I describe olden days fire brigade with buckets handing down the line. And I was wondering if they have old buckets there, perhaps filled with sand or filled with water. And something that I think is nothing actually, you know, mattered more, you know?
I understand what you're saying. I'm looking at this photo to see if I see buckets. Granted, they wouldn't want to put an ice-cold tool on that piece of hot glass, probably. So I'm thinking when they're finished with it, though, they might put it into a bucket of water, but what do I know?
Well,
I probably saw that on TV somewhere. This is where Lynn would be chirping in, telling us all this stuff, the way he always does.
Well, thank you.
Unless the vase reminded you of a bucket, I can't say. But. So, there you go. Other than the fact I wanted you to see, you know, peel out your nouns.
Yes.
Take away your stories and where you think you are. And what do you have left? Pretty good session for a rookie.
Thanks. Thank you.
Let's see. Here we go. Janine's, the glass was somewhat cone-shaped. A lot of good perception.
Thank you.
All right. We'll do Mal's last since he is not here. And that's short for Malcolm, by the way. And here we go with Russ. How many pages do we have here? I think it was actually short for him. It was 9. So Russ, let's see here. More like man-made environment, energetics are spatial, biological, and watery. All right, go ahead.
On that hot glass that's putting up a little bit of smoke. Yeah, I've seen him blow glass before. I'm pretty sure there's a bucket of water there. I'm not sure he saturates it totally, but sand wouldn't be there because of that would, if they wanted to make a rough glass effect, or if they wanted to put speckles in it, they'd have colored glass fragments, but
yeah, because they roll them.
Yeah. Yep. And it melts in. It looks pretty after that, though. I really don't know where to start on this. I try to forget my sessions once I do them.
Yeah.
And,
actually, I never look at them again. My own, I don't ever touch them again. Sorry, you're not. I'm supposed to not share that with you. You're supposed to go back and review them and learn all the stuff. Like,
oh, I do. Yeah, I do afterward. But I mean, for right now, as you would ask me a question, I don't remember a thing. But when I go to research it tomorrow, then I could tell you a few things.
It'll all be there.
But on the retask, I can tell you something about that. Whatever they thought was burning in there, I brought the fire trucks to put it out.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah. So, if there wasn't fire trucks, there's probably some on retask.
Well, I'll pick out a few perceptions here of your 1,000,001. But, and remember, this is Russ's version of a summary. But you've got a lot of chemical-type smell things throughout this, which would be correct. I was tempted to include that insurance feedback thing. If you guys want to Google that, plug for Google, if you do glass blowing and insurance policy, I don't remember the name of that link, but I was afraid that it would give us too much information that didn't necessarily pertain to this target. But now I'm feeding it into this, so that feeds it back in time to the target and influences everybody. But it did deal a lot with chemicals and what to look for. I just skimmed it because people inhale it and they have to deal with the claims. Here's dimensional, many vertical spiraling round, oblong, ultralight floaty feel, coned nose, in air, spacey feel. You see, Michelle, that base, as they're twirling it, is out in space. And so Russ describes it in air, spacey feel. Multi-level height, shear drops, up and down motion, foaming, billowing, resilient. I don't know about the canvas like. Many cables, yes. The bios are sweaty. They probably are. And many reds. And perfume, salty air. I'm skimming. Let's see. All right, dimensional, tall, fanned, rotational, giant, individual, linked, floaty, craft, oblong, hull, hollow. The vehicle gets air, transports, spacey feel, and looping. We think of vehicles as being you know, cars, trucks. The vehicle for creating this is that hollow tube. So if you look up vehicle, all right, might as well do it right here. Anybody listening to this, they'll be like, she doesn't know what the heck she's talking about. So I'm going to look up the definition of vehicle. Here's Merriam-Webster. We'll go with that one for beginning. Get a car advertisement. Nope, we'll scrap that. All right. A vehicle is an inert medium, such as a syrup, in which a medicinally active agent is administered. B, any of various media acting, usually as solvents, carriers, or binders for active ingredient or pigments. 2, an agent of transmission. 3, a medium through which something is expressed, achieved, or displayed, a work created especially to display talents of a particular performer, a means of carrying or transporting something, and a piece of mechanized equipment. Okay? There was another something I was going to, might as well do this too. Hang on. I'm going to look up dragonfly and glass blowing and see if I get anything. Because it could end up being something. You know, we have some shops and, of course, some ornaments. All right, because what is the well, from one of my sessions, it has to do with spiders and silk, and I can't, the word escapes me. So I thought maybe it might have something to do with glass, but I'm not seeing it, and I just skimmed 2 pages of a search. So scratch that idea. Okay, the temps of man-made environments, sweltery, burning, fiery. And bright thinkers requires bodily attention to placement and positioning. There's crowd. All right. I have to look up glass blowing in water. Okay. If you guys want to Google that at any time, by the way, you'll see all the people sitting on platforms and using those rails to support the pipes. All right, I am not seeing buckets of water. Frankly, I cannot imagine that doesn't shatter, but it seems like they dip stuff in water when they're done. I've given you so much feedback about water now, it probably affected your sessions. Okay. And I am sun glow, orange, reddish, and red in the colors. And a temp, 185. It's mechanical and man-made. Yes, sir. Cone, hollow, structural. I don't know why Russ didn't send any of his sketches this time. Except he had lots of targets. He's been very, very busy. Biological field. Pay attention to footing. Eyes gaze like when reading a book, shifting pages. Feel of following, swirling, graceful lines and patterns, curves, dips, rising curves, figure 8, roller coasterish AOL. AOL, if it was on paper, it would be like learning cursive.
Try out those patterns to do who knows what. Create the glass, evidently.
Uh-huh. There are some videos that you can watch as well.
I wrote sandy blown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, glass is from sand. Really?
Very good.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, the musical tones I thought was a radio, but when I retest, it became a fire siren. So retest wasn't too great for me.
I just want to say, Russ, you did really good on this. I'm impressed.
Okay. I'm going to pull up your retest here. All right, I retest Russ in his style. I chose what is burning, what is fiery, what is sweltering. And let's see.
The sweltering I sort of compacted into the what it really was. But the other two, they make sort of a story in places. The AOL is mostly crazy.
Yeah, but there's fire there, and you're having an AOL fire truck.
Yeah.
And there's definitely all sorts of metal structured man-mades, and see, iron, metallic, watery, metallic, rattling, echoing, hammery, and gasps and falling debris. I was a little surprised maybe that nobody actually got the word glass any place in any session, and nor anything like fire or oven. But you know, when you start picking this stuff apart, perception by perception, you have a lot of good perceptions. Now here, oh, glassy, right there. Brittle. I like that. Very good.
Reflecting. By metallics, that's the table, I suppose. I don't know. And the insulation on that guy's glove or whatever, I'll tell you what, he'd be burning himself if he didn't have something there.
Okay. Who would like to bring up whatever they would like to bring up? Nice work, everybody. I know it never seems as if you've done anything that, you know, very, very rarely do you guys ever walk out of here patting yourselves on the back. But lots and lots of good perceptions. Joe McMoneagle was not built in a day. So, who would like to, oh, we do have Malcolm's session down here. There we go. I wish he could have made it, but it's not a good time for him, obviously, over there in the UK. The target feels like a location where there are structures, life with emotion and energy. It feels shaded and dark, yet lit up in parts. A cool environment, yet a feeling of the wild about it. Structures feel boxy and enclosed and isolated with man-made components that have precision, purpose, and involves a liquid which felt distilled and concentrated. You know, the blast, when they started out, the blast is like liquidy. Seems like a rugged wild place with elements of greenery as if set at night. You know, a lot of you were getting that. And felt emotional, the life felt emotional shine withdrawn as if kept away from society, but energetic, focused and directional as if experimenting with something. And that reminded me of the feedback from that very enthusiastic student. But felt symbolic, yet cynical, clinical, almost concise, as if attaining controlled, maybe life itself, of the overall impression of the target. So I would say clinical, almost concise, as if containing control. To form that base, you can't be sloppy. Okay, so here's a peek at his structure. And we'll try to move on through his session to, I was trying to figure out what he might be seeing if he doorknobbed onto something. And does this look like anything? Yeah, it's a great sketch. I'm looking at the, not really a triangle, but it's got the what looks like the hollow tube on it. So I don't know if he fixated on that as far as the tube being worked on that rail. There are no perceptions around it. It's got pressed and spread out. AOL of book right there. And then more sketches. Smooth, plastic, sharp, and he has drained. And an AOL of a cubicle, and an AOL of concentrated. This is the first I've ever seen his work, so I'm trying to, it's not like the sketches are being labeled as if they're inside a larger sketch or a map. So move to the center of the target and describe in full detail. Maybe this is the last page. No, okay. So he had his summary in the beginning. All right. That would be the end of Malcolm. And he signs things Mal, so when he joins us. And we had 9:23. We might finish up a little early tonight. If anybody Mal does some really great work. He does some sessions for Dad. I know I've seen him around. No, I'm thinking of Mark Darley. Okay. Okay, well, that is it. So if you folks have anything to chime in, and if we all talked throughout this whole process, and maybe we're all talked out, then we will call it a night. I'm slowly taking the targets away in case somebody wants to chime in. Is there anywhere we can go to talk about our session? I don't know if anybody else has any meeting rooms set up or not. Jed, I don't know if you knew your settings are set on private, so it's instead of all participants. Jed is saying Skype. So yeah, anybody can get together and you can set up like meetup groups online, you know, anytime you want to, you know, the various discussion areas. There's, in the old days, you know, each, like Yahoo and AOL, you could create a room and talk there, but you couldn't share documents. So I choose to do this way so that other people can learn along with us. Now students, I don't, if I were actually like talking with you about doing a session, I need to learn about Skype again too, actually. If I were working one-on-one with a student on a session outside of this, we come in here and we review in here. But I don't know of any place where anybody else is going. It's all I can do to keep up with my own stuff. Yeah, I need to learn to do Skype because you can call people pretty much all over the world. But they have to have like a username. And I'm a little nervous because I'm afraid I'll end up generating real-time phone charges and not know it until it's too late. I just haven't pursued that yet. So I'm of no help there. I don't know of anybody else meeting anywhere to discuss targets. I wonder if Alexis was trying to get something like that going, though. He's had several posts on Facebook about it. Well, I think we're going to say goodnight, John Boy. Another target up for 2 weeks from now, except I haven't chosen the target yet. So I probably ought to get on that, huh? Either that, Janine, you could even make a post in there and see who's doing what. Because they probably have something going on. You know, there's a lot of very active people now. So. All right. Well, everybody, good night. See you in 2 weeks. Talk to some of you in between, probably. And I had better get busy and choose that next target. And I will see you later. And thanks for coming.